Hi there. This video is an exam paper walkthrough of the AQA GCSE Mathematics Foundation Tier Paper 3 from summer 2023. This paper is worth 80 marks in total, and this is the first video of 4. It will focus on questions 1 to 6, which account for 22 of these marks. AQA Paper 3s are calculator papers, so a calculator should be used. A little disclaimer, there may be more than one way to answer a question. The methods shown in this video are not the only way some mathematical skills can be applied. Okay, let's get started. Question 1a. Solve 5x equals 15. So it's a 1 mark question. This is a one-step equation. I know that 5x is the same as 5 multiplied by x, so I'm going to do the inverse. I'm going to divide by 5. So x equals 15 divided by 5, which is 3. I'm going to pop 3 on the answer line there. 1b, solve y add 7 equals 50. So again, a one-step equation. This time the inverse I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 7 because I want to eliminate this plus 7. So y equals 50, subtract 7, which is 43. So y equals 43. 1c, solve c divided by 4 equals 8. It's a fraction, so it's a division. The opposite of dividing by 4 would be to multiply by 4. So c is equal to 8 multiplied by 4, which is 32. Question 2. Here is a list of numbers. So we have 10, 8, 2, 11, 12, 15, 4 and 4. Write down the mode. The mode is the most common, and the most common number in that list is 4. It appears twice where all the other numbers appear once. So the mode is 4. 2b, work out the median. Median is the middle of the data set. So I need to write these numbers in order. So 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4. Then it would be 8, 10, 11, 12, and 15. So now I'm going to cross off one from either side until I find the middle number. So we're left with 2 numbers in the middle here. So I need to find halfway between 8 and 10. I know that halfway between 8 and 10 is 9. If you weren't sure, you could add them together and then divide the answer by 2. So 9 is the median. 2c, work out the range. So the range is the biggest, subtract the smallest. So the biggest number in that list, I'm going to look at my ordered list because it makes life a little bit easier, is 15. The smallest number is 2. 15 subtract 2 is 13. So my range is 13. 3a, a fair spinner with 5 sections is spun. Complete these statements. The spinner is most likely to land on section, that would be section D, because D is the largest section of the spinner. The spinner is equally likely to land on sections A and E because they are sections of the same size. 3b, 2 different spinners are spun. One spinner has sections labelled with colours, the other spinner has sections labelled with numbers. Here is a list of all the possible outcomes. So this is all the possible outcomes from spinning both spinners. Show the possible sections on the 2 spinners. Okay, so the coloured options for this spinner are red, blue and green. So we could just split that into 3 sections. It doesn't matter about the size because we haven't been given the probability, but we need to make sure that there's a possibility of landing on red, a possibility of landing on blue, and a possibility of landing on green. Now we need to do the number spinner. So the number options for that spinner are 1, 2, 3 and 4. So again, it doesn't matter how we split this, but we need an option for 1, 2, 3 and 4. Question 4. A reel holds 9.5 metres of ribbon. 2 pieces of ribbon are cut from the reel. Each piece is 20 centimetres long. What length of ribbon is left? Okay, so if we're cutting 2 pieces of ribbon that are 20 centimetres long, those 2 pieces are 40 centimetres in total. So we need to subtract 40 centimetres from 9.5 metres, but it will be easier to do that if they're both in the same units. So 9.5 times by 100, because there are 100 centimetres in a metre, tells us that there are 950 centimetres on the reel in total. So we're going to subtract 40 from 950. So 950 subtract 40 is 910 centimetres. So that's how much of the ribbon is left on the reel. Now it says state the units of your answer, and there's no units on the answer line. So I can give them my answer in centimetres, or I can give them my answer in metres. It doesn't matter which. But because I worked it out in centimetres, I would probably just leave it in centimetres because it doesn't tell me to do anything different. (5A). The term-to-term rule for a sequence is subtract 1, then multiply by 5. The first term is 4, work out the third term. So if the first term is 4, the second term will be 4, subtract 1, and then multiply by 5. So 4 subtract 1 is 3, still need to multiply it by 5, so the second term is 15. We want the third term, so we're going to now use 15. So we're going to do 15 subtract 1 and then multiply it by 5. Well, 15 subtract 1 is 14, and then 14 times 5, don't forget you've got a calculator for this paper, is 70. So the third term is 70. 5B. The term-to-term rule for a difference sequence is add 20, then divide by 2. The second term is 50, work out the first term. Okay, so to get the second term, we would have done the first term, add 20, and then divide by 2. But we're given the second term, so we're going to do the opposite. So instead of adding 20 and then dividing by 2, we're going to multiply by 2 and then subtract 20. So we're starting with 50. So 50 multiplied by 2 is 100. Subtract 20 is 80. So the first term would have been 80, and you can check that. 80 add 20 is 100, divided by 2 would give us 50. Question 6. Scarlett leaves home at 10 o'clock in the morning to cycle to the supermarket. Here is a part of a distance time graph of her trip to the supermarket. So, started at 10 o'clock, travelled to the supermarket, stayed in the supermarket for a little amount of time, and then that's where the graph stops, because that horizontal line there means we're stationary, we've stopped. 6A, she arrives at the supermarket at 10:20, which is this point here. How far is a supermarket from her home? So this is the distance on the left-hand side. So we're going to read across here to that point there. So we've got 2 larger squares per 2 on the scale. So that must be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So the distance is 7 kilometres from her home. Okay, she leaves the supermarket at 10:35. Well, they've popped that there on the graph. That's where she stayed at the supermarket until. How long does she stay at the supermarket? So we need to look at this horizontal line where she was at the supermarket and staying there. If we read down here, from 10:20 to 10:35. So we're going from 10:20 to 10:35. That's a difference of 15 minutes. So she was in the supermarket for 15 minutes.